Hey everyone, welcome to RYGR Sports. I'm Yash,
And I'm Logan.
and today we'll be talking about all the big NFL signings that have happened. Obviously, a lot of you may have already heard of, like really big ones, like I believe Rodrigo Blankenship signing a $120 million contract and things of that sorts. But I'd like to start with, in my opinion, one of the bigger names, I guess, being traded or not traded, but signed to the Falcons and Tua. Um, you kind of look at the Dolphins and who they were 3 years ago, right? With Tua and him and Tyreek Hill were just tearing up the league. And, a lot of people thought, including me, that the Dolphins were going to be really dangerous, like moving forward, right? That completely flipped. I mean, the Dolphins are ass. I mean, they're ass. Tua is. I mean, I think he's a good guy, but just his concussions and everything have kind of just like ruined him in a way. The Dolphins took a big hit with this signing because the Falcons are only paying him $1.3 million for this year. But the Dolphins, in the next 2 years, they're taking a $99 million dead cap, which is just, I mean, it's insane, right? It's going to be really hard to go anywhere, at least these next 2, 3 years. Um, Another person on the Falcons that got franchise tagged was Kyle Pitts with a $15 million contract. This is kind of a unpopular opinion, I would say, but I feel like the NFL needs to kind of do away with franchise tags. I feel like it's unfair to some of these players because, you kind of, as a player, you want that, I guess you want that kind of guarantee of, having that guaranteed money because you don't know if you're going to get hurt or not, right? And anything can happen, especially in a sport like this. And I feel like it's kind of shameful that teams are kind of giving you a franchise tag because then you're only binded to them for 1 year. And if you don't play well, they'll just give you away, basically. And you know, uh, another big signing that I was looking at actually, this one was one of my favorite signings, was DJ Moore going to the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen hasn't really had a true number one wide receiver outside of Stephon Diggs, and we obviously know Stephon Diggs and his problems off the field. So DJ Moore, I think, is a really good fit for Buffalo. DJ Moore is one of those receivers that doesn't care if he doesn't get enough targets. I mean, he's out there to win. Obviously, we saw him in Chicago this year under the bright lights, making big catch after big catch. Um, I personally really like DJ Moore. And then my third signing that I wanted to talk about was Jaelan Phillips going to the Panthers. 4 years, $120 million contract. I mean, he's really gonna elevate the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, they were a playoff team last year. A lot of people really counted them out at the beginning of the season, but they proved a lot of people wrong. They went toe to toe with one of the best teams in the NFL in their first playoff game, and they really had a chance to win it, right? So, I think having Jalen Phillips signing Devin Lloyd, I think it's really gonna elevate the Carolina Panthers this season.
Yeah, you mentioned some good
You can go, Logan.
moves there by some teams. Obviously, we got a lot of a lot of signings done yesterday. The first move that I kind of want to talk about is Max Crosby going to the Ravens. Now, I believe he was traded there, so that kind of caught me by surprise a little bit. I knew he kind of wanted out of Vegas just because that team is really bad and they really don't have much future outside of Mendoza, who they're about to draft. So, I think that really makes the Ravens a serious contender. Adding a piece like that to your defense is super important, and especially because that defense was not good last year. They definitely didn't play up to their expectations, and I think if you add a guy like Max Crosby on that defensive line, um, it really creates a better culture there, and I think he's definitely going to help them out next year on that defense, which really was a spot they needed to improve from last year. Obviously, you have Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. I mean, they have guys on offense, and adding a piece like that to their defense only makes their ceiling higher. So I think that was a really great move for them. It really kind of pushes their ceiling up towards probably a conference championship. I don't know if they're good enough to make it to the Super Bowl, but it definitely increases their chances a whole lot. A couple, big signings that we had yesterday. Alec Pierce got $116 million from the Colts. Now, a lot of casuals out there might not know who Alec Pierce is. He's a dog. this guy's like this guy's a great receiver, and obviously you might think, oh, he's just a white kid. He's he's not like that. No, Alec Pierce is a great player in the NFL. He had an outstanding year last year for them. So I think that is a move that definitely helps Indianapolis out, especially having Daniel Jones coming back from um, the ACL tear, I believe it was. Keeping a piece like him on that offense is important, especially because they started the year like 7-0, 8-0. So maintaining those pieces from last year is very important. He had some games last year that were outstanding: 115 yards, 132 yards, 2 scores, just really consistent. Um, so I think that's a great piece for them. Do I think $116 million is a little much? Yes, but deals are going to get bigger and bigger every year as the market um, gets better. Kenneth Walker going to the Chiefs. I think it was 3 years, $45 million. That is a crazy move. I mean, it only, we knew the Chiefs were going to come back after Mahomes got healthy. Obviously, we don't know what his timetable is or when he's supposed to come back, but I think once Mahomes comes back, the Chiefs are going to be right back where they want to be. And especially last year, because they had some serious running back problems last year. It was kind of a three-headed monster back there with Kareem Hunt, Pacheco, and then Brashard Smith. So adding Kenneth Walker to this running back room really solidifies him as the guy back there, and he's probably going to go really high in fantasy drafts this year, just because that offense is pretty solid, and he's now the number one back there. So that definitely keeps Kansas City in the running for contention next year. The Jets franchise tagged Breece Hall. Now I do have a signed Breece Hall helmet back there. I really like Breece Hall. I liked him coming out of college at Iowa State, I believe, and I think he's one of those backs where he's very versatile. He's good in the pass game. He's great. He can break off a bunch of big runs. And obviously we saw the Jets make a lot of signings yesterday. I believe they signed like 4 or 5 guys. Demario Davis, one of them. Minka Fitzpatrick they traded for. So they're trying to get better. I see the vision, but this culture is not good. I think this Jets team probably wins. I think their ceiling is probably 6 wins. So, I like that they franchise tagged Breece Hall because I like him as a player, but I kind of feel for him because he wanted to get out at the trade deadline last year and they didn't trade him. So, I hope we can do something with him this year, but he's one of my favorite players, so I definitely can't get mad at that move right there. Um, Another surprising one yesterday was Mike Evans going to the 49ers on a 3-year, $60 million contract. I thought Mike Evans would retire a Buccaneer. Really, with the amount of successful seasons that he's had there, um, him moving to a different team really just doesn't look right. It doesn't seem right. But they gave him 3 years, so obviously they still think he has a little bit left in the tank, and we'll see if he can start a new 1,000-yard streak. I'm not sure with the injuries and everything. I'm not sure if that's a possibility next year. But if he stays healthy, there's obviously a chance. I think that makes the 49ers a little bit of a better offense, especially considering Brandon Ayuk was a complete no-show last year. So adding him definitely boosts their offense a lot. So, there was a lot of huge signings. I'm looking at some of these contracts, and you guys got guys like Wan'Dale Robinson getting $78 million. I mean, the market for these guys is just crazy. I mean, if you would have looked at these contracts, 10, 15 years ago, I mean, these guys are getting paid like superstars. So, as the years go on, the market just gets like, insane for these guys. Malik Willis got $67 million. So, I mean, you just take a look at some of these contracts, and it kind of blows my mind how much money these guys are getting. But that's the NFL. So, I'll hand it back over to Yash. We got a couple other players that still need deals. Trey Hendrickson is one of them that hasn't gotten a new contract yet, but I'm sure there's going to be some more, big moves coming up as the summer comes along, and maybe we get some trades. Obviously, the NFL draft is coming soon, and teams are going to be trading picks and whatever, and we still got some guys that need to sign some places, so we'll see how it all happens.
Yeah, so I did want to start with George Pickens getting re-signed by the or not re-signed, basically getting franchise tagged by the Dallas Cowboys. Again, kind of brings back that topic of NFL should do away with franchise tags because George Pickens franchise tag 1 year, $28 million. I mean, to the average person, it seems like a lot of money, and it is. Don't get me wrong, but George Pickens is good enough, and he proved himself this year, especially without CeeDee Lamb, that he can make plays when he's really needed to. The franchise tag is preventing him from going out and getting 100 mil because I definitely feel like he can get a 3 year, $100 million contract at a lot of teams, right? And you know, Brandon Aubrey got re-signed, obviously, to a 1 year, $6 million, $5.8 million deal, I believe. He's obviously a proven kicker. I mean, he's unbelievable, right? In a way, he kind of came out of nowhere a couple years ago. The Detroit Lions losing Alex Anzalone, I think, is going to be a big hit to their defense because Anzalone was, I mean, obviously he's a great player, but I just feel like he can't really be replaced, especially with the scheme that the Lions run. The Texans signing Reed Blankenship to a $25 million contract. I feel like that was a really, really good signing. Obviously, that means that the Eagles don't have Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship on the same team anymore. That's obviously a big hit. Signing or extending Daniil Hunter was huge for the Texans. I mean, Daniil Hunter is just an unbelievable player, right? I believe 31 or $32 million of that is guaranteed. Still, just unbelievable money because this is. I mean, like you mentioned, if you look at this just 5 years ago, right? $40 million for an edge. I mean, that's like quarterback numbers, right? I mean, just 5 or 6 years ago, Mahomes signed a $45 million per year contract, and everybody was freaking out over it, right? And now you look, now we have, just regular, mediocre, at least for an NFL standard, a mediocre quarterback getting paid 40 a year, right? So it's just kind of unbelievable to see how it's kind of transpired over the years. Um, I do know that obviously Kansas City traded for, or I guess signed Kenneth Walker. I do feel like it's kind of a bummer for me because I feel like Kenneth Walker belonged in Seattle. I think in a way Seattle did him a little bit dirty. I mean, this man literally carried you on your back in the Super Bowl, right? I mean, 160 rushing yards, a touchdown. If there was an offensive holding, that's 200 plus and two touchdowns. I mean, the Chiefs, I think, are going to be really good this year. It's all dependent, like you said, on when Mahomes comes back. I believe that the actual time period of Mahomes coming back is anywhere between week 3 and week 5. I think that's what they estimate as of right now, because it'll be about 10 months since his injury. Um, but talking about Max Crosby, I know you brought that up a little bit earlier. I know the Patriots did, I guess, offer a trade for Max Crosby. I know that it was obviously declined by the higher ups, including my favorite NFL player of all time, Tom Brady. And a lot of people kind of came at him because, people believe that he kind of did that out of spite for the New England Patriots and how they were treated. But if you kind of just take a minute and you kind of look at what the Patriots offered as opposed to what the Ravens offered, the Patriots offered the 31st, first, or the first overall pick, or not the first overall pick, first round pick. That was the 31st pick, and the Ravens offered a first round pick. That was the 13th pick. I mean, that's just a no brainer if you really think about it. So I don't really put too much. I don't put any blame on him really. He's just doing what he kind of needs to do. Um, but you know, Trent McDuffie going to the Rams, I think, is probably the biggest free agent signing that's happened so far. 4 years, $124 million. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? Um, I think that's gonna hurt Kansas City defensively a lot. I don't think Trent McDuffie is just a normal corner that you find anywhere. Obviously, you just look at his contract. The Rams are going to get significantly better after that signing. Because really, I think their only issue was kind of on the back end of the defense. But now they got two outstanding corners. And I feel like the Rams, I know this is an early prediction. I think the Rams at least make the NFC Championship game next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, there's a lot of moves that still need to be made, and there's some really good players that are still on the market. And obviously, we have the NFL draft coming up very soon, so I'm sure we're going to see a couple of other big trades coming up within the next few months. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. We're going to have a March Madness preview coming out soon once the bracket is revealed. Selection Sunday is next Sunday. So we're going to have a video on that. And then stay tuned for more NBA content as well as the NBA playoffs come around very soon. So, yeah, leave a comment down below. And we'll see you guys in our next video. See ya.
All right. Peace. Yeah.